What is the relation between Vertica high availability, a philharmonic symphony, and the 8 queens puzzle? The 8 queens puzzle deals with placing 8 chess queens on an 8x8 chessboard, so that no queen threatens another. Each solution required that no queen would share the same row, column, or diagonal with another. With Vertica, we can demonstrate a SQL query approach for the 8x8 and n-by-n problem to show how Vertica VSQL alone can solve and visualize the 8 queens puzzle, while we online reduce the number of nodes in a 10 nodes cluster. Franz Joseph Haydn was an Austrian composer of the classical period. His contributions to musical form have led him to be called Father of the Symphony and Father of the String Quartet. Joseph Haydn was a friend and mentor of Mozart, a tutor of Beethoven, and the older brother of composer Michael Haydn. The tale about how the Haydn's Symphony No. 45 was composed was told by Haydn himself, in old age, to his biographers. It all started with the premiere in 1772. At that time, Haydn's patron Nicholas I, Princess Esterházy was resident, together with all his musicians and retinue, at his favorite summer palace at Esterházy, in rural Hungary. Haydn was employed as royal conductor to the prince, and had taken temporary residence at the prince's castle. The stay there had been longer than expected, and most of the musicians had been forced to leave their wives back at home in Eisenstadt, about a day's journey away. Longing to return, the musicians appealed to their Kapellmeister for help. The diplomatic Haydn, instead of making a direct appeal, put his request into the music of the symphony. During the final adagio, each musician stops playing, snuffs out the candle on his music stand, and leaves in turn, so that at the end, there are just 2 muted violins left, played by Haydn himself and his concertmaster, Luigi Tommasini. The prince seems to have understood the message. The court returned to Eisenstadt the day following the performance. In addition to Haydn's genius musical work of art, we would like to focus on this miraculous balance of absence and fulfillment. The idea is that while the musicians, one after the other, fall silent, the music did not stop. Our authentic use case is based on Vertica's new read-only mode, which was introduced at Vertica version 11.0.2. Previously, a neon mode database would react to the loss of quorum, or primary shard coverage, by shutting down, to prevent potential data corruption. From Vertica version 11.0.2, the database does not shut down in response to either of these events. Instead, it goes into read-only mode. In this mode, queries that do not affect the global catalog can still run on subclusters that have shard coverage. If one will run DDL or DML statements that would change the global catalog, those statements will fail with an error message. However, read-only mode lets users still query the database, while you resolve the issues with the failed nodes. Once you restart the down nodes, and they quickly recover, Vertica reforms the cluster. Then nodes resubscribe to shards and the database returns to its normal operation. To demonstrate this incredible feature, we deliberately stopped the cluster nodes, one after the other, while the queries, solving, and visualize the 8 queens puzzle, running on that same cluster, do not stop, from the time when all the nodes were up and running, until one node left, continuing to run those queries, all alone. The idea here was not to undersize the cluster, but to test Vertica's high availability, read-only mode.